Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Hope everyone is well and I hope everyone is looking after themselves. So today I'm back with another house build. Before I had, so my most recent video was an apartment renovation, and then I did a 2-part eco community lot because it was quite a big one. So I decided to just do a quick house build. Unlike the first one, where it took about 4 hours or something like that. It's not that quick. I did spend a little bit of time on this one trying to work out what I wanted to do. There was like a few different vibes I wanted to go for. So at first I knew I wanted to have this like really nice like entranceway with like arches, but then I couldn't figure out the rest of the vibe of the house. And I'd also seen this really nice colour scheme on Instagram, which was like a really nice autumnal colour scheme. It was like oranges and reds, and I was like, I want to use that for a house. And I've seen lots of people do lots of really nice like autumnal builds at the minute, so I was like, I'm gonna get on that because it seems like a nice thing to do. So I did start out with archways, but then I changed it to use the cats and dogs like window frames, and I think they're so pretty, like with that little front bit. And then as well, when I was working out, I was thinking, oh, do I want to use like limited packs, or do I just want to go for it and use whatever? So at first I did try and use only cats and dogs and base game. However, I then did start to use like other bits from other packs, and I kind of got into a bit of a rut with it. I've been in a bit of a rut with building at the minute, so I find when that happens, it's best for me to just carry on and try and make whatever I can basically with all the packs I've got. I mean, I've got them, I'll use them, but I do know it's like annoying to try and download stuff that has loads of packs. But to be fair, most of the time in my builds, I have a lot of my main items from 1 pack or 2 packs, and then it will mainly be clutter items that are just from the other packs, which then build up. But I do think in here I use cats and dogs, I use some stuff from Parenthood, and I know I use a few bits from Eco Lifestyle as well. But overall, I think the majority, I would say, is like cats and dogs stuff. So the majority of the house would still be intact. So I really struggled with the front of the house because I was going off this reference picture and I just couldn't. Sometimes it's really hard to replicate reference pictures in The Sims because obviously there's just there's a limited we have limited tools in the sense of what we can make. So I was going to have this little balcony at the front, and then I just felt like it made the front too blocky, so I ended up putting that at the back and have a dormer on the front instead, and use one of the get together window decorations to add a little bit of shape and make the build feel a little bit more dynamic. So at the minute I'm currently working on building out Newcrest as a neighbourhood, and I've got a few houses in this neighbourhood in Newcrest, in this kind of style of like a craftsman colonial-esque kind of house. There's one opposite, which was my first one, my craftsman cottage speed build. So that's that across from this lot. Next to it there's like a base game starter home that I did do, but then I deleted the recording of that, which was so annoying, so I can't share that one, but I'm gonna renovate it anyway. So I might renovate the lot and maybe film that and share that instead, because I'm not really happy with how that one turned out. I think it looks so boring because I spent so much time on the inside and didn't spend any money on the outside. So here I knew that once I got the front started, I knew what I wanted to do with the rest of it, and I ended up using the other roof pieces to create these really cute little roof structures in the front, and then it adds a little bit more detail to the build. So I knew the kind of shape as well. I would think I've really enjoyed making houses lately. I was going through a bit of a phase a while back where I was like building tiny homes constantly, and then I was like building or renovating all the San Myshuno apartments, and now I'm back into this kind of like house building mood, which I've actually really enjoyed, and I think I'm going to do a couple more. And I think in this neighbourhood in Newcrest I want to build a park at some point, so I might do that on stream at some point. But I'm also debating like other open community lots, maybe like a garden or a maker space or something like that, something that came with Eco Lifestyle. But I think a park could be quite nice. I'm not very good at doing community spaces, so I think it would be good to try and push myself out there a little bit and do a few little different types of builds rather than building the same thing on this channel. I'm trying not to, even though at the minute I'm just very much in my comfort zone, but I don't think that's a bad thing. So here is where I start using the get together decorations, and I put that on the front and the back, and I think it just creates like a little bit of extra shaping to the house and doesn't stick out too much like it would if you just use like a half wall. So I think this house ends up being 3 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms. There's one downstairs and a bigger one upstairs. There's a room for toddlers and there's 2 in there, and then there's a kids room as well which has 2 beds in as well, and then I did like a really big master bedroom which could definitely be split into 2 if your family like grew. I decided I wanted to make this house kind of feel a little bit more luxurious in the sense that like I wanted to have like a bigger master bedroom, and I did want to have 3 bathrooms, so I would have a master bathroom as well, but in the end it just doesn't work out. So here I'm kind of fiddling around with the colour scheme, making sure I really like the textures and panels. I watched Rubity's video of like eco townhouses, and they were talking about all the different textures and colours they use to make the building feel a little bit more dynamic, and I thought that was a really good tip, and you should 100% check out their channel if you haven't. Yeah, I really enjoy their builds, and I really enjoy just listening to their voiceovers as well, so I'll definitely stick a link in this video for you to check them out, because I think they've got some really good content. So when I was like working out my colour scheme, I was like, I'm going to do that. I'm going to work out what's going to make the build feel a little bit dynamic and a little bit textured as well, because the lighting on this lot is kind of weird, so there's not really any good time of day where you can see the whole lot in its kind of full glory. So I do change from like morning to afternoon to evening quite often, just to work out the best lighting. Yeah, I also did a little bit of terrain manipulation here, not a lot, just enough that it makes the lot feel a little bit more natural and a little bit more like raised and stuff like that, so it kind of hides a little bit of the foundation. I did that on the lot next to it, and I ended up making like a hill up to the garage, because I did the whole house on a foundation, so I did like a little bit of a terrain manipulation on the lot next to it. So I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to do this for a few lots around. And I think as well, if I do the park on the bigger lot in this neighbourhood, then I'll definitely do a little bit more terrain manipulation, because I do enjoy doing it, and I think it adds like a little bit of subtle detail to the lot, in my opinion, even though, you know, sometimes you can't really tell. So I was looking for some different landscaping bits to use. So I used the stuff that I normally do, but then also added in these little pumpkin decorations as well around the place, because we're getting into spooky season, which is my favourite time of year. Everything just feels so cozy, and it's just that like nice in-between stage between, you know, the boiling like really warm summer and then into darkness that you get in Scotland. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make this feel really cozy, especially as I was using those like orange and reds and browns and all that. So I felt like it was definitely suited to this lot. And as well, I'm celebrating a little bit of the Animal Crossing update for fall. I spent some time making my island a little bit better, and I made it look a little pumpkin patch and that. So that was fun, and I was like, okay, I'm going to do this in The Sims as well, make my lot feel a little bit cozier. I'm also going to be going pumpkin picking this year, which is going to be so fun. I mean, if the weather holds out and it doesn't get too muddy and wet. So I think I've just been very much a pumpkin mood. I'm really tempted to get the spooky stuff. I can't say it. I can never say it. Spooky stuff pack. So I can carve some jack-o'-lanterns and go trick-or-treating and stuff like that. Which is kind of disappointing that it didn't come with seasons and that you have to have that separately, but I don't know, I'm hoping there'll be some kind of sale at some point, but I don't think we'll have one until January. Also, because we had just had that big summer one. I try not to buy the stuff packs unless they're discounted, unless there's one that I really want. I think I bought Tiny Living and Laundry Day at full price, and that's it out of all the stuff packs I have. I mean, in saying that, I don't have them all at all, and I don't really have many, so but I do like to wait until they're on sale, because most of the time I just can't make my mind up over which one I want, so at least that way I can buy 2. So out in the back garden, I really didn't know what was how to blend that bit where the pool was, because I knew I wanted a patio, but I didn't know how to like blend it into the lot without doing terrain paint. But I didn't really want to do terrain paint either. And then in the end, I put a fence out there because I figured if you've got toddlers on the lot anyway, you would probably want some way to like section off that pool, because I mean, obviously in The Sims they don't go into the pool, but in real life I was just thinking like, that wouldn't be very safe. So in terms of the floor plan, I knew, because I want that master bedroom, I knew upstairs was going to be fine, but downstairs was quite tricky because I was trying to work out where to fit in a bathroom and a kitchen and a living room and a dining room, and I was just trying to work it out. And in the end, I do like this really open floor plan and just kind of have the back room as this really long room where it has the a dining room and living room in the same space, and it ends up being really cute and cozy. Doing a little bit more terrain paint and stuff, and as well because this is a corner lot, like the other house that's opposite, the Craftsman house. If you've not seen that video, definitely check it out. It's definitely one of my favourite builds that I've done for a while. I did 2 entrances on that build, and I was tempted to do the same thing here, but in the end I just do like a garden gate, so you can get in from that side of the lot if you need to. And as well, because of the way that the house is laid out, it doesn't matter where you enter, it kind of feels like you're entering from the front anyway. So there is a dedicated like porch area, front entryway kind of bit, but then on the other side near the back door there's a desk, and it's a bit more of an office space. So at first in the garden I did have this clothesline, but later on I realised I just didn't even bother with like doing a laundry room or anything like that, so I just got rid of it and put a swing set in instead, because I felt like it was better for this property. So I added in, that's where I've added in the fence. I just did this really tall glass fence because it was the same height as the rest of the outdoor fence, so I figured it worked quite well, and I think it actually looks quite nice. I might do this a little bit more in my builds. So I think we're just heading inside now. I quickly do the bathrooms with the same stuff I always do it with, apart from adding maybe like the red curtains, which is a little bit different. I just find my bathrooms, I'm like, your Sims aren't in them for the majority of the time, so they don't need to look nice. Or at least they don't need to look, that done. So I just do white tiles all over and white appliances, and then that'll do me. I would rather spend more time on the rest of the furnishing of the house. So here in this entryway, I again stick with all these really nice like dark wood tones and reds and oranges, and add in like a little footstool on that. I can imagine if you're chucking your shoes on, you need a nice little place to sit. But I do enjoy, I really enjoy how this like little room turned out. I think it's actually quite cozy. And then in the end, I spend the majority of the time trying to match the rest of the house to this room, because I actually really liked it. I just felt like it was a nice, warm, open space to come into. I also add these like little wall lights. And it's really hard. We haven't got very many nice wall lights. And the ones we do have are like huge. So I took a couple that I really liked the light and the colour of the light that they have, and just scaled them down a little bit, and they look a lot nicer. I just don't know why they're so like massive to start out with, so I had to like scale them down twice. If you don't know how to do that, by the way, that's just square bracket keys on your keyboard. The left bracket will scale things up, and the right bracket will, or is it the other way down? It's probably the other way around. Don't quote me on that. But yeah, those bracket keys are for scaling down. You don't need to move objects on or anything like that, and you can do it with any object, which is brilliant. Sometimes it casts weird shadows, especially if you do it with things like plants, so just be careful of that. But most of the time lights are fine, and that's one little handy trick, I guess. So in this room I was going to do lots more like oranges and things like that, but in the end I decided to keep it quite soft and neutral, and I ended up using quite a lot of pastels, I think. And using that sofa as well from City Living, so yeah, that's another pack I've used. I use that sofa from City Living because I think it just looks like the comfiest sofa in the game, and I just use it all the time. But I really like the light blue and pink feeling in there. It just makes it feel so cozy. It feels like, that kind of like in between, as summer's just ending and like fall's just starting, or autumn's just starting, sorry. It just really feels like that nice in-between level. And I thought it went really, really nicely with that wood floor as well. So I kind of have two living areas almost. There's like one in front of the fire, one in front of the TV, and then some kids items in between. So I really wanted to have like a few different spaces in this room to break it up without actually having to build walls or anything like that. I think it kind of turns out quite nicely. I think it feels quite cozy and separate. And you can just kind of imagine someone can watch telly while someone else is just reading a book in front of the fire or something. My only issue was like trying to fill the walls, because I did the like tall walls here to have the right windows and doors that I wanted to use on the ground floor. So it does feel like the walls are somewhat empty at some points. So I end up doing the kitchen on the left-hand side of the build. It would be the right-hand side as the camera's facing just now. And with a desk in between. So it really feels like every bit of the space is used, which I find like in family homes, you often have that. I don't know. I've always found like in my family homes, like we've never had any like open empty space, because especially if you have a big family, you just need to use the space for everything. So, and here's the little kitchen going in. Again, I really like how this turned out, and I managed to squeeze in a little countertop as well. Not a countertop, a island worktop, sorry. I couldn't work out where I wanted to put like the oven and the fridge because of the way the room was laid out, where the window was. So they start out with the oven near the window, but I swapped those over just because I felt like it would be weird. And in my head, I just thought like, oh no, like you would get all the grime and like oil and stuff like that on your window, and it just wouldn't be very nice. That window would get steamed up very quickly, so I swapped those over. And luckily it doesn't block it or anything like that. I only did cabinets on the one wall as well because of the window, so I didn't want to have them so high up. I wanted to actually make it feel like a cozy kind of kitchen to go with the rest of the house. I think as well, one thing I've noticed in my builds, I really enjoy having iron worktops, but I don't like using the bar stools, because I find your Sims will just eat there. So when you want your Sims to eat together as a family, you then have to like, you know, pick them all up and like, you know, cancel their interactions so they can go over and sit with the family. So I just kind of use it as like an extra worktop almost, rather than an actual breakfast bar or island counter. So again, I was like going through, I'm like, I need to decorate these walls. There's nothing on these walls. It's stressing me out. And I just use a couple of the same decorations, but I don't think that's a bad thing. I think it just feels consistent and quite nice. And then the same with the colour scheme, and that I couldn't work out what I wanted to do for the life of me in this room, because everything else was quite soft and neutral. I didn't want to use just white and make it feel quite empty. So I do a couple of feature walls, and I put the brick behind the fireplace to break up that texture as well. But I do use like just a plain beige colour. I can almost imagine in real life it'd be like a magnolia colour, where it's just kind of like it comes in the big pots, so you get it to decorate the whole house. And then upstairs I end up creating a few more different like themes in each bedroom. Like the toddler's room is really, really bright and colourful, and nothing matches, whereas in the kids' room there's like two separate sides to the room, because I'm imagining like, you know, the two kids are in there, they're forced to share a room but they don't want to, so they've kind of decorated each side of the room to their own taste. So this is where the big bathroom goes in at the end. I knew I wanted to have a bath because the toddlers, but I also did want to have like this big open kind of feel to the bathroom, and I feel like it's really nice actually. I would really enjoy like this bathroom. It's so spacious. So there's two doors. There's one that goes into the master bedroom, and then there's also just the main door from the hallway. So I feel like that's kind of my compromise when I wanted to do the master bathroom and the real the main house family bathroom. So it's like, oh, okay, I'll just add an extra door in, and then that way in game you could lock that door, so only, you know, your two parent Sims or whatever Sims have that room can get in there, so it does feel like a master bathroom. And that way your Sims won't walk around to go through the bathroom to that door to get into that room as well. I also use like double doors into this bedroom because I wanted it to feel really grand. This house almost gives me a little bit like McMansion vibes, where it's kind of fancy but it's not. So like I say, you can definitely probably like remove that fireplace and split this room into two because it's just so big. But I don't know, imagine like the family that live here, they've got really stressful jobs and then they just want a nice calming place away from the kids. And I go for a really nice like yellowy kind of colour scheme in here to feel really bright and warm and cozy. And to be honest, I would love this bedroom. It kind of reminds me of a bedroom you'd get in a hotel, you know, where you've got like the little seat and everything like that. I even end up doing something with the hallway as well, because there's like quite a big space in the hallway. I feel like you could definitely still reconfigure this what's it called, floor plan upstairs to fit in a couple more bedrooms. I just really felt like I wanted to have quite big spacious rooms and have a lot of space around to like, you know, give this space for the family to grow or stay the same, you know, because I mean there's already enough space for 6 Sims, I believe, so you know it's not a lot. This is actually one of my favourite toddler rooms I've done for a while, just because like it's all different colours and all mismatching and things like that. And I think compared to the rest of the house where it's all very matchy and like organised and like, you know, it's the same colour scheme, I actually really enjoyed making this room feel a little bit more like a kid's room. And the same with the actual kids' room next door. Because sometimes my toddler room's quite like it to a strict colour scheme, and which I can imagine obviously you would do, but like things like your toys and stuff like that wouldn't match that colour scheme. So I was like trying to incorporate that idea and that feel in different ways. And then here I'm doing the kids' room. So I actually really liked making this kids' room because I was like, okay, so there's going to be one side, they're going to be an ultra like overachiever. They're going to be really into like their like scouts and getting loads of awards and medals. And then the other kid is just vibing. He's just going through, they're just coasting through life. Like they enjoy it. And I use the room divider from kids' room stuff because I feel like, you know, having these two Sims that share, but then also giving them space to grow. So I think as well, if you wanted to like keep this room for teens as well, it would work quite well. I do like this kind of really cute, like different wallpapers on both sides. And I actually quite like this feeling. I shared a room with my younger sister, and I can imagine if we had ever had the chance to like split our room in half, we would have, and it would have looked so like clashing and so odd. But I think that's kind of the fun bit of like, you can just imagine this family maybe lets the kids like express themselves a little bit in that way. So I actually really felt like it was fun to think of this like storyline that they would have. I even put like the medals on the wall and everything. But anyways, so it's just the hallway left and maybe some little bits extra outside. I'll let you enjoy the rest of the video. My voice is going to go soon, so I hope you are looking after yourselves. Please get a glass of water, open the window, get some fresh air in, and I will see you all in the next one. Bye.